Hey everyone, welcome back to Losing It for Good. Today, you're here with Charlene. Today we are going to be talking about something we all do. I'm known to be the queen of it, and that is making excuses. Oh yes, you heard that right. This is going to be a fun one. Those sneaky little justifications we all tell ourselves to get away with a snack, to skip a workout, or to put off a healthy choice just a little bit longer. We let them steer the ship. So today, let's get a little bit closer to figuring out where these excuses come from, and more importantly, how to spot them and stop them before they derail your progress. Let's get real. Lying to ourselves is just too easy. I mean, have you ever caught yourself thinking, I deserve this treat, I've had a very hard day, or just go for it, it won't make a difference on the scale, because that's a few days away. Yeah, I know that one. Those are classic excuses, right? And for a long time, I let them steer the ship. And anyway, in this episode, I just want to get a little bit closer to figuring out how and where these excuses come from, and more importantly, how to spot them and stop them before they derail our progress. All right, let's talk about some of the sneakiest excuses that we might not even recognize as excuses. Here's one that hits close to home. I've been good all week. I deserve this. Does that one sound familiar? This one is tricky because it feels so right. You worked hard. You deserve a little reward, but here's where we get stuck. Rewarding ourselves with food only reinforces the idea that unhealthy choices are a reward and healthy choices are a punishment. What if instead we start rewarding ourselves in ways that support our goals? A walk outside, a relaxing bath, a new book, something that doesn't work against the effort that we've put in. Think about it this way. Every time we choose to reward ourselves with healthy choices, we reinforce our goal instead of setting ourselves back. Plus, it's a way of showing self-love that doesn't disappear as soon as the treat is gone. Here's another big one. It's a special occasion. I'll just go out or do this one time. This one time sounds fair, right? But if we're really honest with ourselves, how often does one time become a habit? Special occasions come up constantly. Birthdays, holidays, weekends, Taco Tuesdays. Every day can be a special occasion, if we want it to be. Right? So instead, try asking yourself, is this really a special occasion? Or is this just something I'm telling myself to justify going off track? I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. Life's too short to live without celebration. But if we can separate truly special occasions from those everyday excuses, we'll start seeing more consistent progress. This one snack won't show on the scale next week. Ah, yes, the classic it doesn't count excuse. Here's the thing. Small indulgences do count, not because of the calories themselves, but because of the mental pattern that they create. Every time we use "it doesn't count" as an excuse, we reinforce a mindset where we avoid accountability. Oh, I tell you, with all my years doing this, the tricks and the mind games and everything are just, they're ingrained, but we have to work. Our brain is a muscle, and we have to work diligently to retrain that muscle, just like any other muscle. And it can be done at any age. One trick is to keep track, even of the little treats. I've started jotting down when I've had those small indulgences. It's not to punish myself or to feel guilty, but to stay honest with myself. When we face what we're eating, we can make more intentional choices instead of letting our excuses run the show. Now, in all honesty, I allow myself one snack a day. It stops me from binging at the end of the week or the end of the month. I know this is only my third or fourth video on here, but I've been successful in losing 25 pounds so far on my own. So I know these little tricks, and I know myself. And if you're like me and you start craving the things you're not having or the things you're missing, then it gets to a point where once you're at your ideal weight or you start to feel better, you start thinking, okay, phew, now I can start having this and this and this and this. Again, we're reinforcing, or we're using food rather, to reinforce our everything. We're using food to reinforce everything. We need to start making smarter choices over the unhealthy choices. Now, if you're like me as well, having just a little bit every day is hard. And in fact, at one time that would have led to my binging, or it would have led to just going off completely, because I was, like I said in my previous videos, I'm all or nothing person. And I'm trying really hard to look at life as small steps, small changes. And for some reason, I've been able to stick to this one. I don't bring in loads of bad foods. I bring in enough for 1 week. And I spread it out over the week. So I make sure that I have my one treat a day. And, I should stop calling it a treat. See, I don't have it quite planned. I have my one less healthy snack a day, and just make sure that I eat well the rest of the day. Listen, once I started tracking my excuses, I could see the same ones coming up over and over. And guess what? After a while, they stopped working because I could recognize them. It's amazing how a little honesty can make those sneaky excuses lose their power. But here's something I wish I'd learned sooner. Having self-compassion doesn't mean giving in to every craving. We often mistake kindness to ourselves with letting ourselves off the hook. But what if true kindness is sticking to our goals, even when it's hard? Think about it. Would you tell a friend to give up on their health journey for a quick snack or 2 or 3 or 4? Of course not. Being kind means respecting the goals we've set and knowing that our future selves will thank us. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is remind ourselves that we are worth the effort. Not because we're perfect, but because we're committed. If you're really good at controlling your portion when it comes to treats or snacks, then the old, I'm not going off my diet, I'm just practicing moderation approach might actually work for you. But if you're like most of us, and like I was, stopping at just a little can be tough. For some, taste leads to more than they planned on, and that's where it can become a very slippery slope. Personally, I found, like I said, having a small snack each day, something that I truly enjoy, and I mean it. Like, it can be a couple of cookies instead of 4, 5, or 10, or I'll stop at 10 cookies. A pint of ice cream, a little bit of ice cream. My biggest one was cookie dough. Once they started putting on the cookie dough package that it's edible the way it is, that gave me permission to go, oh, I can have cookie dough. But what I did was, when I got the cookie dough, when I was first learning the portions. Now I'm much better anyway. But I would cut it into 6 little parts, and I would freeze them. And then every morning I would take out just one, and that would be my treat for the day. Now it's working for me. I don't know why. I don't know. I wish I had the answers as to why. I think your brain knows when you're committed. It knows when you're ready. Dig in your heels and do this. And I got to say, by putting myself out here for the world to see was probably the scariest thing I've ever done. But I wanted accountability. I wanted to know that I have at least a few people watching and wanting to do better themselves. So, if you're someone who can't stop at just a little, it's okay to recognize that about yourself. Maybe sticking to a more structured meals for a while and easing into treats as you develop more control is the right move for you. There's no shame in knowing your boundaries. Just remember, it's about finding out what truly helps you stay on track and feel good in the long run. If you're looking to dive deeper into the topic of overcoming excuses, there are some fantastic books out there. One that my therapist recommended that I highly recommend, and I'll put links in the description, Atomic Habits by James Clear. He talks about creating sustainable habits and letting go of the ones that don't serve us. Another one is The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal. She explores how self-control and willpower and work gives insights into how excuses can hold us back. And of course, I don't know if you've heard of Brian Tracy, but he's got a lot of really good books, but No Excuses. Talks about taking ownership of your goals and avoiding excuses. I found these books really helpful in understanding why we make excuses and how we break the cycle. So, next time you catch yourself making an excuse, ask yourself, is this supporting your goals or is this holding me back? Instead of I deserve it, try saying I deserve to reach my goals. Instead of it won't show on the scale. Every choice we make brings us closer to where we want to be, and a little rephrasing can go a long way. I just want to add one more thing. I think the hardest time to reframe these excuses to be more positive are when you're in a good mindset, right? And it's harder when you're not. I mean, it's harder when you even like I've caught myself saying, Charlene, don't listen to Charlene, like the little devil and the angel, right? Like, don't even think about the way I'm supposed to be thinking because you really want that snack or whatever. But somehow we have to break through that, and and don't feel shame if you don't, because shame is like the worst feeling, and it holds us back probably more than anything. But try really hard not to feel guilty, not to judge yourself, and not to judge other people. Just accept something for what it is, and next time, make a better choice. As long as at the end of the week, and this is not an excuse to use, as long as at the end of the week you are making steps in the right directions. Thanks for watching. I'd love to hear what your sneakiest excuses are in the comments, and let's help each other spot these patterns and stay strong. And please don't forget, when we're honest with ourselves, we're setting ourselves up for real, long-term, permanent success. So please, if you're enjoying my videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps with the algorithm, and it just helps knowing that we're all in this together. And so far, the comments have been amazing. The people that have commented are absolutely wonderful, and I appreciate you sharing your stories or just offering your support. It means so much. Like, you wouldn't, I'm going to get teary-eyed. You wouldn't believe how much that really makes me feel good. So please stay strong, stay kind, especially to yourself, and just keep going. Just keep taking those little steps. Thank you. Take care. Bye.